This is class 4 of my Parts of Speech series, and we are studying nouns. This is my last lesson on nouns. When we express that something belongs to someone, we make a specific usage, and that is known as possessive case. And that's exactly what I'm going to teach today. What are we waiting for? Let's begin our grammar learning journey. And of course, the links to my other videos on this topic can be found in the description box. I'm going to put two sentences and think for yourself which one is correct. 5 dozen eggs, or let me copy this and paste this for you once again. Which one is correct? 5 dozen eggs or 5 dozens eggs? It's very difficult sometimes to decide which one is correct because the difference is minute. Not only that, it is confusing. Why is it confusing? Because this dozen which is mentioned here has it specifies for us to us it specifies to us that we are talking about something that is definitely more than one, right? So we get confused and we think that perhaps it's correct to say 5 dozens, but no, it is not. This is wrong. The correction is 5 dozen eggs. And these are the areas from where errors are picked up and designed, right? Because if all grammar exercises were so easy and simple, everybody would score full marks. Isn't that so? I'm going to take up one more exceptional usage. I'm going to remove all this now, and I want to point out something. English language is complex, mainly because it has been derived from so many languages. And fortunately or unfortunately, when these words came into English language, many of them retained their original forms. And that is why we people sometimes find it very difficult to understand its correct usage. Here are some of the words that I am pointing out. So, some words, that is, let us, because I am teaching nouns today, I have brought some nouns which have been taken from foreign languages. And when they have come from other languages, they have kept their original plural form. So they form plurals in an unusual way. Many times, these are also the areas where errors are hidden. So we often make use of this word criteria. But what is the singular of criteria? Criterion. So if you get a sentence and you are asked to correct this, so what do you say? The criteria is that. I have heard many people make this usage. The criteria is that, but it is wrong. This is an incorrect usage because the word criteria is a plural, right? So this is a less used word because mostly there are a number of criteria that are used in a certain thing, right? Same thing with phenomenon. Lightning is a natural phenomenon. But when we talk about phenomena, which is the plural, phenomena must always be followed by are or a plural verb form. Crisis is one, but the plural of crisis is crises, basis, basis, analysis, analysis. And that is how it goes on. That is the list. All right, now I'm going to take up another usage, and I'm sure you'll find this to be very interesting. This is when one part of speech becomes another part of speech. And why does that happen? It happens because of its usage. So, nouns can be used to describe other nouns. Now, look at this word school. This is a noun. But when I say school children, this becomes to be an adjective in usage. Metal is a noun, but in the phrase metal frame, the word metal is a noun now. Okay, it is an adjective, sorry. That is an error from my part. French nationality, it is a noun, but in this phrase, it is an adjective. Public place, the word public is an adjective. Now, that is easy to understand, but what is the relevance of this as a topic? That when a noun is used as an adjective, it does not have a plural form. So I cannot say school's children. This is wrong. And this is an area where you can find errors hidden, especially when you get grammar exercises. So I say 10 feet is correct. But suppose I give you this in your grammar paper and say, this is a 10 feet pillar. You might think again and again that what is the error here? Because 10 feet sounds to be correct. But you know the grammar rule that when a noun is used as an adjective, it does not have a plural form. You will never make this error. I can say 500 rupees, but then why do I not say 500 rupees note? Why not? Because here the noun has been used as an adjective. So you are sure, yes, this is an error and I have to correct this. Now I'm going to take up another aspect of a noun, and that is called possessive case. Now I'm going to explain to you what is possession in nouns, possessive case. Of course, when I talk about it as a topic, it sounds to be very difficult. Oh, what is this possession in nouns? But when I will explain to you, then you will feel, oh, this is so easy. To possess means to own something, own. So how? Because we are people and we are also nouns and we own a lot of things. So how do we express ownership in nouns? How do we express it? All right, so we express ownership by a small punctuation mark, which is known as the apostrophe. And even though this is a very small and tiny punctuation mark, it is very important. And this is an area where a large number of people make errors. So I'm going to take up some usages and also give you the exceptions. All right. So the first thing that I brought is that what is a possession? What does possession illustrate? Possessive case of a noun answers the question whose. To whom does so and so thing belong? We look at the proper noun usage first. If it is a name of a person, I put an apostrophe and S after the name, and that indicates ownership. So I say Ravi's pencil. All right, this much is easy, but the place where a lot of people make an error is where the proper noun ends in either S or ES. Many people write it like this. This is wrong. Some people might put the apostrophe here. This is also wrong. This is the correct usage. Chris's bag, Charles's school. Now that was about proper nouns. I'm going to take up a usage which is related to singular countable nouns now. When a noun is singular and countable, it will be used in this way. But then there is a problem. Even plural common nouns can have a possession. Then what should I do? The apostrophe will be taken after the S and there will be no extra S here. This is wrong. This is how it goes. Now, some plural nouns do not end in an S, the unusual nouns. In that case, I make use of the apostrophe and S after that word. So it is going to be Children's Park, Women's Day, and so on. Now, what if there are two people who jointly own something? When it is the case of something that two people own jointly, what do I do at that time? In that case, the last noun will take the possession. This is the grammar rule. Now that is easy. You have learned that rule. And now you think, oh yes, I've mastered grammar and I cannot make a mistake. When the grammar paper setter thinks something even more vicious and gives you this. If two nouns or two people do not own something jointly, then both the nouns or all of the nouns will get the possessive case. Let's look at this. Shelley is the name of a poet. He has written poems, and so is Keats. But they have not collaborated and written the same poem. All right. They have their own different collections. So, because this possession is not joined, I say Shelley's and Keats's poems. Now, India has its own army, so has China. So I do not club this together. I say India's and China's soldiers. So this possession is not a joint one. I want to teach you one more rule related to the possession of nouns. In grammar, this word is called apposition, but I will explain it to you very simply. Nouns in apposition. Now, there can be the same person who is being referred to in two different ways in the same sentence. For example, I say, this is Tom, my cousin. Now, Tom is the name of the cousin, but there are two nouns which are used for the same person in the same sentence. I can say, this is Bruno, my dog. Now, Bruno and dog are the same creature. So, there can be many such sentences that you also make many times where two nouns are used, but they both refer to the same person. In that case, the second noun will take the comma. I will bring for you one more rule. All right. If suppose you're talking about the Prime Minister of India, then what will you do? If we are talking about a person who is holding a position of power, for example, the Prime Minister of India, I can talk about Prime Minister. This is the Prime Minister's view. But if I say Prime Minister of India, then I don't say the Prime Minister's of India's speech. Then I will only say this is the Prime Minister of India's speech. Compound nouns here, because when a compound noun makes a plural, at that time, the S comes after the countable part. And this is what gets to be confusing many times. So it is daughters-in-law when we talk about a plural. But when it takes a possession, then it is this last one, daughters-in-law. When we talk about non-living objects, then what happens? Non-living objects do not take possessive case. So we do not say, this is the table's leg. The correct way of saying it, this is the leg of the table. I will end my class by telling you this last one thing, and that is about the plural in abstract nouns. Abstract nouns cannot be counted, but they can have a plural form. For example, some of them. many joys, many sorrows, many pains. So I can use them in both the ways: joy, joys, sorrows, sorrows, pain, and pains. I hope that you had a nice and interesting session. And with this note, I will end today's class. You enjoyed the session, and thank you for being with me. Goodbye.
And that was the end of my lesson. Hoping to see you soon in the next lesson where we will learn even more unusual forms and usages. Stay connected, keep following my grammar classes, and of course, you can get your doubts solved through the comments box. Keep watching my videos, and if you learn from these video lessons, do like, share, comment, and